So we will discuss a few more tutorial questions. Actually, I plan to continue my discussions on numerical problems even after the first series. So which means we will continue to discuss a few more problems regarding the first and second module post the first series. Only after that we will be starting the third module. So let us discuss a few questions that could be useful for tomorrow's test paper. So the first question is to compute the remaining 3 samples of the DFT of a 8-point real sequence, and you are given only the first 5 samples of the DFT. So the first 5 samples of an 8-point DFT of a real x of n are given by this expression. Okay. So since it's an 8-point sequence, let us label the samples. This would be x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, and x of 4. Since capital N is equal to 8, x of 4 is x of capital N by 2. So this is x of n by 2. Therefore, x of n by 2 plus 1 would be the conjugate of x of n by 2 minus 1. And x of n by 2 plus 2 would be the conjugate of x of n by 2 minus 2. So that way you can compute the other samples. So therefore, the sample number 6, that is x of 5, would be the complex conjugate of x of 3, which is 0.5 plus j 0.86. The next sample would be the conjugate of the sample, which is 0. And likewise, the 7th sample, that is sample number 7, or the 8th sample, is the complex conjugate of the sample number 1, which is 0.5 plus j 0.5. So this you can do only when the sequence is real, right? So this we have discussed in the previous classes. So once you get the first 5 samples, you will be able to write the rest. And you also have seen that for any sequence, the first sample in the DFT is simply the sum of all the time domain samples. And likewise, you can also find out the n by 2th sample by computing x of 0 minus x of 1 plus x of 2 minus x of 3 plus etc. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question now. Find the DFT of x of n is equal to cos h an, that is hyperbolic cos of an, for 0 less than n less than n minus 1, where the hyperbolic cosine function is expanded as follows: e raised to an plus e raised to minus an by 2 for 0 less than n less than n minus 1, which means you can write x of n is equal to 1 by 2 into e raised to n plus 1 by 2 into e raised to minus n for 0 less than n less than n minus 1. Now, we can write the DFT of this sequence. We will compute the DFT of this sequence. So to compute the DFT of this sequence, we will look at a result that we had derived earlier. We had arrived at earlier, so which is the DFT of an exponential sequence. So DFT of an exponential sequence a raised to n, where a is a constant, can be written as sigma n equal to 0 to n minus 1 a raised to n w raised to kn, which you can write as a geometric progression, sum to n terms of a geometric progression where the ratio is a w n raised to k is written as a into 1 minus r raised to n by 1 minus r. So a, the first term is equal to 1 here. So 1 minus the ratio being 1 minus a w n raised to k, the whole raised to capital N. So that would be 1 minus a raised to n. Then the second term would be w n raised to k n. So that term is not appearing in the PDF. So this would be the second part is 1 minus a raised into w n raised to k n capital N divided by 1 minus r is 1 minus a w n raised to k. Now w n raised to kn is equal to 1. So therefore we can write this as 1 minus an by 1 minus a w n raised to k for 0 less than k less than n minus 1. Okay. So here this should have been, here you would have had a capital N here. So this is w n raised to nk. So w n raised to capital N to k. So w n raised to capital N into k, w n raised to n is equal to 1. So this is 1 raised to k. So this term vanishes to 1. So the numerator is 1 minus a raised to n by Denominator being 1 minus a w raised to k for 0 less than k plus n minus 1. Now, therefore, x of n, which you can write as 1 by 2 whole into e raised to a the whole raised to n plus e raised to minus a the whole raised to n. So that can be written as 1 by 2 to 1 minus e raised to a n by 1 minus e raised to a w raised to k plus 1 minus e raised to minus a n by 1 minus e raised to minus a w raised to k. So I have not simplified this further. So you can do this simplification from this expression. Now, let us move on to the windowing theorem, which we had discussed. So in many applications, such as in FIR filter design that we are going to discuss in the third module, we multiply a sequence x of n by a window w of n with length equal to n. Now, an example of such a window is the Hamming window, which you can write as Hamming window, which you can write as Wn is equal to 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 cos 2 pi by n into n minus capital N by 2. Now, you are asked to write the DFT of the sequence y of n, which is obtained as Wn into x of n. DFT of the sequence y of n, which is the windowed input sequence, which is Wn into x of n. So you are asked to find out y of k, which is the DFT of y of n. Now you see that Wn, that is the windowing function, can be written in terms of complex exponentials as well. Because you know cosine function you can write as cos theta is e raised to j theta plus e raised to minus j theta by 2. So this you can write as 1 by n plus 1 by 2 into e raised to j 2 pi by n into n minus n by 2 plus e raised to minus j 2 pi by n into n minus n by 2, which we will expand as follows. So which is equal to 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 e raised to j 2 pi by n. So if you simplify this, the second term would be e raised to minus j pi plus 1 by 4 e raised to minus j 2 pi by n. This term would be e raised to plus j pi. So e raised to j pi and e raised to minus j pi are equal to minus 1. So this reduces to 1 by 2 minus 1 by 4 Wn raised to minus n. So here again, so here I have missed out on the term small n here. So I'll just type in that here. So that is e raised to j 2 pi n by n. And the second part also we have, I have missed out on, and e raised to n j 2 pi n by n. So here also you should write e raised to j 2 pi n by n. Okay. So this is e raised to minus j, e raised to plus j 2 pi n by n into e raised to minus j pi. Here you have e raised to minus j 2 pi by n into 2 pi n by n into e raised to minus e raised to plus j pi. So both e raised to j pi and e raised to minus j pi reduces to minus 1. So this becomes 1 by 2 minus 1 by 4 Wn raised to minus n minus 1 by 4 Wn raised to n. Now y of n, which is equal to Wn into x of n, can therefore be written as 1 by 2 into x of n minus 1 by 4 into x of n into Wn raised to minus n minus 1 by 4 into x of n into Wn raised to plus n. Okay. So if you take the DFT throughout, then you can write y of n, supplying linearity property and the frequency shifting property, that is linearity property and the frequency shifting property. So you can write y of n is equal to x of k by 2 minus x of k minus 1 modulo n by 4 minus x of k plus 1 modulo n by 4. Because from the frequency shifting property, you have the DFT of x of n into Wn raised to minus ln is equal to x of k minus l modulo n for 0 less than k less than n minus 1. So which means we have represented y of k. So this should be y of k. So we have represented y of k in terms of, so this is y of k is equal to, so y of k is equal to x of k by 2 minus x of k minus 1 by k minus 1 modulo n by 4 minus x of k plus 1 n modulo 4. Okay, so this is from the frequency shifting property. Now we move on to a similar question, which is let x of n have an endpoint DFT given by x of k. Find the DFT of the following sequences in terms of x of k. So the first is y of n is equal to alpha x of n minus m1 modulo n plus beta x of n minus m modulo n for 0 less than n less than m minus 1. So we have circular shifting now in the time domain. So the answer is fairly straightforward. You only need to apply the circular shifting property in the time domain. So y of k would be alpha into wn raised to m1k into x of k plus beta wn raised to m2k into x of k. Now likewise, let us look at a different sequence. Y of n is equal to x of n for n even and x of n, y of n is equal to 0 for n odd. So now you are taking the even samples of x of n, but you have zeros in between the even samples. Where you had the odd samples, now you have zeros. So you are not exactly downsampling the sequence x of n. You have the same number of samples say if x of n had n samples, then you will have n samples in y of n also. But the only difference is that y of n will have only the even samples of x of n as its non-zero values. So which means the non-zero, that's the odd value, should cancel out. So which means we can write y of n. So if you can observe closely, you can write y of n is equal to 1 by 2 into x of n plus minus 1 the whole raised to into x of n. So which means when n is even, for example, when n is 0, then you can write y of 0 is equal to 1 by 2 into x of 0 plus minus 1 the whole raised to 0 into x of 0. So this is this time minus 1 the whole raised to 0 is equal to what? So 1 by 2 into x of 0 plus x of 0 is equal to x of 0. Whereas if you find out the value for y of 1 would be 1 by 2 into x of 1 plus minus 1 the whole raised to 1, which is equal to minus 1 into x of 1, which reduces to 0. So which means that all the odd samples reduce to 0, and you have the same value for the even samples. Now this minus 1 you can write as e raised to minus j pi, and you also had observed that e raised to minus j pi you can write as wn raised to n by 2. So we have done this several times before. So we can write e raised to minus j pi, which is equal to minus 1 as wn raised to n in wn raised to n by 2. So which means y of n can therefore be written as 1 by 2 into x of n plus, instead of minus 1 I will write wn raised to capital N by 2 the whole raised to n. So this becomes wn raised to n into n by 2 into x of n. Okay. Now again from the frequency shifting property, that circular shifting in the frequency domain, you have this property which we had seen earlier, which is x of k minus l modulo n will have an inverse DFT given by wn raised to minus l n into x of n. wn raised to minus ln into x of n. So therefore, you can write y of k. If you take the DFT throughout, you can write y of k is equal to 1 by 2 into x of k plus x of k plus n by 2 modulo n. X of k plus n by 2 modulo n. So we'll move on to the next question. So it has not been digitized very well, but I think it's readable. Let x of e power j omega be the DTFT of x of n equal to 1 by 2 the whole raised into u of n. Now this is sampled at 10 equally spaced samples. So which means x of e power j omega we are going to sample at 10 equally spaced samples to yield. So we will call the samples of x of e power j omega as x1k. So x1k is equal to x of e power j omega, where omega is equal to 2 pi k by n, 2 pi k by 10. So since you have 10 equally spaced samples. So now the samples of x1, x of e power j omega, where you take the samples at 10 equally spaced points, are called as x1k. So which means x1k is equal to x of e power j omega, where omega equal to 2 pi k by 10. Now find the sequence x1n such that x1n is the IDFT of this sequence x1k. x1 of n is the IDFT of the sequence x1k. So now this question is very interesting. In that now you have a sequence which is of infinite duration. So x of n is of infinite duration. So x of n by definition, since it's of infinite duration, does not have a discrete Fourier transform. However, what we are doing is we are computing the DTFT of x of n, and the DTFT is sampled at 10 equally spaced samples, so which we are going to call as x1k. So which means x1k is a finite duration sequence in the frequency domain having 10 samples. So definitely that will be having an inverse discrete Fourier transform. So now we are going to look at what is this inverse discrete Fourier transform. For this, what we will do is, see, there is one simple way to compute this, but it is very tedious. You will never be able to complete the answer here. So that would be to sample x of e power j omega. So write down x of k as the 10-point sequence and find out the 10-point inverse discrete Fourier transform of x of k, which is going to be extremely time consuming. So that is not practical to attempt in an examination. So we have to look at an alternate method. So let us see how this can be approached. The answer is that we can write x of n is equal to 1 by 2 the whole raised to n the local, which has got a DTFT given by, which we have discussed in the previous year, 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2 e raised to minus omega. So DTFT being the Z transform sampled, Z transform evaluated over the unit circle, Z transform x of Z is 1 by 1 minus 2 Z raised to minus 1. And for the unit circle, you put Z equal to e power j omega. So this reduces to, the DTFT reduces to 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2 e raised to minus omega. And this is your x of e power j omega. So what we will do is we will sample this at 10 samples which are equidistant in the frequency domain. So as follows. So what we'll do is we'll write x1k is equal to 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2 into, instead of omega, we'll write 2 pi k by 10, so that we have 10 equally spaced samples. So 1 minus 1 by 2 e raised to minus a 2 pi k by 10 for 0 less than k less than or equal to 9. So which we can write as, since using the W notation, we can write this as 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2 W 10 raised to k for 0 less than k less than or equal to 9. 0 less than equal to k less than or equal to 9. Now recall that we have a raised to n, that's this exponential sequence having an endpoint DFT given by 1 minus a raised to n by 1 minus a w raised to k. So therefore 1 by 2 the whole raised to n will be having a DFT given by 1 minus 1 by 2 the whole raised to 10 by 1 minus 1 by 2 w 10 raised to k. So you see that the denominator is the same as this expression, and in the numerator you have a constant, so which means 1 by 2 the whole raised to n by 1 minus 1 by 2 the whole raised to 10 would have a 10-point DFT given by 1 minus 1 by 2 w 10 raised to k for 0 less than k less than or equal to 9. So this is what you require. So you can therefore write x1n is equal to 1 by 2 the whole raised to n by 1 minus 1 by 2 the whole raised to 10, which you can write as 1 by 2 the whole raised to 10 by 1 minus 1 by 2 raised to 10. So 1 minus 1 by 2 raised to 10 is nearly equal to 1. So 1 by 1 minus 2 raised to 10 is 1 by 1 minus 1 by 1024. 2 raised to 10 is 1024. So this is almost equal to 1. So this term is almost equal to 1. So you see that x of n is represented to a very good accuracy by x1 of n. See what we have done is we had an infinite duration sequence. We had an infinite duration exponentially decreasing sequence. whose DTFT was computed and the DTFT was sampled, and you had taken the IDFT of the sampled DTFT sequence. And in this case, you have seen that this X1 of n is a very good approximation to the original sequence X1. So that's a very important result. And now finally, this is not a numerical problem, but I want you to look at this very carefully, because tomorrow you might see some questions which are represented in different forms. So if you have a sequence, any sequence can be represented as an array. Like for example, you can represent x of n is equal to 1, 6, 8, 4. So which is also a linear combination of shifted impulses as delta n plus 6 delta n minus 1 plus 8 delta n minus 2 plus 4 delta n minus 3. In the Z domain, you can represent this as x of z is equal to 1 plus 6z raised to minus 1 plus 8z raised to minus 2 plus 4z raised to minus 3. So which means if you are given this summation of impulses, then you can automatically write down the array here. Or if you are given x of z as this Z domain polynomial, then also you'll be able to write this x of n automatically. Okay, so that will be it.